Ryan Callahan almost left him on the side of the road. He'd been standing there for 4 hours. 4 hours in the Texas heat, walking up and down that stretch of highway outside of Austin, calling out into the brush, checking under every guardrail, trying to find the mother of a puppy he'd spotted curled up alone in the grass, barely moving, about the size of his fist. He never found her. And here's the part that almost stopped everything before it started. Ryan was absolutely terrified to bring that puppy home. Not because of the puppy, because of his wife. Melissa Callahan had been attacked by dogs 3 times in her life. 3. And every single one of those experiences had left a mark that didn't heal the way a bite wound does. The first time, she was 7 years old. A stray on her street came out of nowhere and bit her on the leg badly enough that she needed stitches and a full round of rabies shots. If you've ever had a rabies shot series, you already know that's its own specific kind of awful. The second time, she was 19, walking home from a party at 1 in the morning. 4 dogs came out from between 2 parked cars and chased her for 2 full blocks. She got away, but she didn't sleep right for a month after that. The third time, this one is the one people don't believe when she tells it. She was walking down a sidewalk in Denver, minding her own business, when a dog fell on her. Not attacked from the ground, fell. From a second-floor balcony. Whether it jumped at her or just lost its footing, Melissa still doesn't know. What she knows is that 60 pounds of dog landed on her shoulder, and she spent 3 days with ice packs and a very strong opinion about balcony railings. So yeah, Melissa did not like dogs. This was not a personality quirk. This was a documented history. Which is exactly why Ryan stood on that highway for 4 hours, trying to find a way out of the decision he already knew he was going to make. Ryan Callahan was 34 years old, a contractor from Austin, Texas. He'd been married to Melissa for 6 years. They had a house in the Bolden Creek neighborhood, a green couch that was too big for the living room but that they'd argued over keeping, and the kind of relationship where they still made each other laugh every day, which Ryan considered the most underrated thing in a marriage. He'd been driving home from a job site when he spotted the puppy, just sitting there, right off the shoulder of the road. No mother in sight, no other dogs anywhere, just this tiny, round brown and gray puppy with a face like a very old man sitting in grass like he was waiting for something to happen. Ryan pulled over, because of course he pulled over. He's that kind of person. He checked for the mother for 4 hours. He walked that stretch of road in both directions, called into the drainage ditches, asked 2 different passing drivers if they'd seen anything. Nothing. The mother was gone. Whether she'd been hit by a car, spooked, or simply wandered off too far, Ryan never found out. By the time the sun started dropping, he was back at his truck with a puppy in his hands and a phone in his pocket, and a wife at home who was going to have very strong feelings about this situation. He called his cousin first. His cousin already had 3 dogs and said no before Ryan finished the sentence. Then he sat in the truck for 11 minutes, doing nothing. Then he called Melissa. "Hey, so I need you to not hang up." Melissa, who had been making dinner, already knew this was going to be something. Ryan only started sentences with "so" when he'd done something he wasn't sure about. "What did you do?" "I didn't do anything, yet, but I found something." "Ryan, it's a puppy. He's tiny. His mom is gone. I looked for 4 hours, Mel. She's not coming back." Silence. The kind of silence that has a whole conversation inside it. "No. 2 months. That's all I'm asking. Just let me bring him home for 2 months and then we figure it out." "Ryan, you know why I can't." I know exactly why. And I'm not asking you to love him. I'm asking you to let him sleep somewhere warm for 2 months while I find him a real home. That's it. 2 months. More silence. "What does he look like?" Ryan looked down at the puppy in his lap who had fallen asleep. "Like a very small potato with legs." Melissa laughed. She didn't want to, but she did. 2 months, she said, and he stays out of the bedroom. Ryan was already pulling out of the shoulder before she finished the sentence. The puppy was an American bully, or most of one anyway. Stocky, wide-headed, with these enormous paws that looked like they belonged to a dog 4 times his size. Ryan named him Tuk Tuk on the drive home, partly as a joke, partly because he kept making this low, rumbling sound in the passenger seat that reminded Ryan of a tuk-tuk engine idling. The name stuck. Melissa met him at the door with her arms crossed and her jaw set in the specific way that meant she was holding her position and he should not push it. She looked at Tuk Tuk. Tuk Tuk looked at her. Then Tuk Tuk sneezed so hard he fell sideways. Melissa pressed her lips together, looked away, went back inside. But she left the door open. The first week, Melissa maintained a strict 2-foot rule. Tuk Tuk could be in whatever room she was in, but not within 2 feet of her. Ryan watched her enforce this with the energy of someone trying very hard to not show that the rule was already harder to keep than she'd expected. Tuk Tuk, for his part, seemed completely unbothered by the rule. He'd find a spot just outside the 2-foot boundary and lie down there with the heavy, total commitment of a dog who has decided that this is his spot now and always has been. And then he'd just look at her, not demanding anything, just present. By day 4, Melissa had started talking to him. Not to him, exactly, more like near him. She'd be doing something in the kitchen and say things like, "You're in my way," and "Don't look at me like that," and "That face doesn't work on me," which was a lot of energy to spend on something that supposedly wasn't working. By day 10, she was sitting on the floor next to him while she watched TV, not touching him, just there, 2 feet away. By day 14, the 2-foot rule had quietly become 1 foot. Tuk Tuk noticed. He always noticed, but he never pushed. He just waited, which is maybe the smartest thing anyone has ever done in the Callahan household. Here's the part Ryan still talks about. 6 weeks in, he came home from work and found Melissa sitting cross-legged on the kitchen floor, with Tuk Tuk's enormous head resting on her knee. She was reading something on her phone. She didn't look up when Ryan came in. "Don't say anything," she said. "You were absolutely going to say something." Ryan put his keys on the counter and went to change his clothes and said nothing, which took considerable effort. That was the moment he knew the 2-month deadline was never going to be enforced. Tuk Tuk grew fast. Within 5 months, he was 60 pounds and growing, with a personality that could only be described as comfortably, unapologetically lazy. He had found the exact spot on the couch that got the most afternoon sun, and had claimed it with the conviction of someone who had done extensive research. He slept approximately 18 hours a day. He would walk to his food bowl, eat, and then look back at the couch like he was calculating whether he had the energy to make the return trip. He had opinions about effort. His main opinion was that it should be kept to a minimum. Ryan started calling him the furniture with feelings. Melissa started buying him better dog food, which Ryan did not bring up. Tuk Tuk was 2 years old when Lulu came into the picture. Melissa found her at the Austin Animal Center on a Thursday afternoon. She'd gone there, she told Ryan, just to look. She said this with the complete lack of self-awareness of someone who has clearly never heard their own story before. Lulu was a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, compact, muscular, with a brindle coat and eyes that were about 40% too large for her face, which gave her a permanent expression of mild surprise that Ryan found completely hilarious. She'd been at the shelter for 11 days. She was 2 years old. She had a note on her file that said high energy, and a drawing next to it that someone on staff had added of what appeared to be a tornado. Melissa brought her home on a Saturday. Tuk Tuk was on the couch when they walked in. He lifted his head, looked at Lulu, looked at Melissa, then looked at Ryan with an expression that said, "This was not discussed and I have feelings about it." Lulu immediately tried to sit on him. Tuk-Tuk accepted this with the resignation of someone who has realized very quickly that life has changed and there's nothing to be done about it. Within 2 weeks, they have established a dynamic that has remained completely consistent to this day. Tuk-Tuk is in charge of being stationary. He handles all couch-occupying, sun-patch-lying, and heavy-sighing duties, with a commitment that borders on professional. If there is a comfortable surface available in the Callahan house, Tuk-Tuk has assessed it, tested it, and cleaned the best part of it. Lulu is in charge of everything else. She's the one who reminds everyone it's walk time, meal time, and playtime. She's the one who investigates every noise. She's the one who greets visitors with the energy of someone who has been waiting specifically for that person their entire life. And Tuk-Tuk is slowly, visibly influencing her. Ryan has watched it happen in real time. Lulu arrived as a tornado. 8 months later, she takes significantly longer naps. She started choosing the second most comfortable spot on the couch instead of the floor. She has begun to understand the value of doing absolutely nothing for stretches of time that would have seemed impossible to her a year ago. Tuk-Tuk is corrupting her, peacefully, strategically, without ever getting up from the couch. But here's the thing about these two that nobody who sees them for the first time expects. They are profoundly, almost aggressively jealous of each other. If Ryan pets Tuk-Tuk for more than 30 seconds, Lulu materializes from wherever she was and inserts herself between his hand and the dog. Not aggressively, just present. A reminder. I'm here. Don't forget I exist. If Melissa gives Lulu any sustained attention, Tuk-Tuk, who has not moved from his couch position in 2 hours, will suddenly find the energy to walk over, sit directly on Melissa's feet, and make a sound that is somewhere between a groan and a complaint. It's not a bark, it's not a whine, it's something specific to Tuk-Tuk that means you are giving affection to someone who is not me and I want you to know that I've noticed. Ryan recorded it once. The video has been watched by everyone in their neighborhood. Melissa Callahan was bitten by a dog at age 7, chased by 4 dogs at 19, and had a dog fall on her from a second-floor balcony at 26. Today, she's 33. She sends Tuk-Tuk birthday videos. She has a photo of Lulu as her phone wallpaper. She refers to both of them as her kids with the total lack of irony of someone who has fully committed to a position they never saw themselves taking. She still doesn't love all dogs. She's honest about that. Strange dogs on the street still make her nervous. She still crosses to the other side of the sidewalk sometimes. Those 3 experiences didn't disappear just because Tuk-Tuk fell sideways sneezing on the night he came home. But Tuk-Tuk is not those dogs, and Lulu is not those dogs. And somewhere in the last 2.5 years, the difference between the thing she was afraid of and the 2 animals currently asleep on her couch became something she could see clearly. Ryan still thinks about those 4 hours on the highway, standing in the heat, looking for a mother that wasn't coming back, and holding a puppy he had no plan for. He thinks about how close he came to calling his cousin one more time, to leaving Tuk-Tuk with someone else, to taking the easier path. He doesn't know exactly what that version of their life would look like, but he's pretty sure the green couch that's too big for the living room would be a lot less crowded when someone gets too much attention. And honestly, he doesn't want that version at all. Some families you build on purpose. Some just show up on the side of a Texas highway with enormous paws and no plan, and then they fall asleep on your passenger seat, and just like that, they're home. If Tuk-Tuk winning over the world's most dedicated dog skeptic made you smile today, drop a comment below, and tell me, has a dog ever changed someone's mind in your life? Because I think we all know someone who needed exactly this story.